Jensen still looking for Xmithie with an insane return. There's the shutdown, double shot back from Belter, and Cody rips the rest of the team apart.
Everyone knows that carries should be protected, but just standing in front of them doesn't always do the trick. Manipulating the space and forcing your opponents to make tough moment-to-moment decisions is one of the most advanced ways to approach a team fight. Welcome to The Breakdown. I'm Zyrene. This week, we're going to be looking at the final fight in Game 3 between Immortals and Cloud9. And specifically, I want to look at the spacing from Immortals during the fight. Let's start with the compositions. Cloud9 have a composition that favors clustered teamfights. Orianna Shockwave, Shen Shadow Dash, and Varus Chain of Corruption are all devastating when fighting in chokes. This means Immortals want to fight out in the open and away from one another to avoid Cloud9's abilities. Immortals' composition is focused on disruption. Kled looks to accomplish this by diving the backline and causing panic, while Elise, Thresh, Xayah, and Taliyah disrupt by providing crowd control. This means Immortals want to separate the enemy to look for picks in the fight, kite back, and bait key abilities which would allow them to then turn the tides of the fight. Let's get into it. Pobelter uses Weaver's Wall to block off Contracts from accessing the Drake, but it actually bumps him onto the wrong side of the wall. Now, Pobelter and Olay are forced to turn and pressure Contracts to either get him to pop Ragnarok early so they can zone him later, or at the very least, zone him away now. Impact channels Stand United onto Contracts to get into the fight, and in response, Olay drops down the box to slow both the Shen and Olaf while Pobelter kites down. This creates space and ultimately allows Immortals to spread out to avoid C9's win condition. As Shen arrives, Olay throws out a Flay that knocks back Impact but also covers the possibility of a Shadow Dash. This prevents Impact from reaching a good target right away and gives Pobelter room to run from Contracts as the rest of Cloud9 arrives. Impact finally uses his Shadow Dash, hitting the only available target in Olay. Olay then flashes away from his own team to draw C9's attention off the mouth of the Dragon Pit. Cloud9 then tunnel on Olay, burning in Sneaky's Chain of Corruption just to lock him down, which could and should have been used on much higher priority targets. Because Olay pulled C9 downriver, Contracts missed his opportunity to be in range for a Smite steal. This positioning also opened up the space for Cody Sun and Xmithie to leave the pit without having to blow their flashes. Xmithie has the option to leave the pit entirely, but you notice that he doesn't. What Xmithie's doing is keeping himself separated from Cody Sun at all times so that Jensen can't land a shockwave on both of them. As they exit the pit, Xmithie nails Smoothie with a cocoon, just as Flame enters the fight. This allows Pobelter to separate Smoothie from his team with a well-timed seismic shove, removing the option of him devouring either Jensen or Sneaky to offer them safety from the incoming dive. Flame's Kled enters and turns on to C9's biggest threat, which is Jensen's 11-0 Orianna. Even though he gets exhausted, Flame's goal is to push back C9's carries to allow his own to deal damage without having to worry. Flame jousts in, pressures Jensen, and dashes back out while popping Gargoyle's Stone Plate to give him more time to remount and save his Guardian Angel. Because of the pressure from Flame, Sneaky makes a critical mistake and paths away from the majority of his team. Because Impact no longer has his Shadow Dash or his Spirit's Refuge, Cody gets to flash forward and deals over 2,300 damage to Sneaky in 2.5 seconds. During this time, Smoothie had actually been running up into a position to try and eat one of his teammates over the wall. But with Sneaky dead, now his only option is to rescue Impact. With Devour no longer available to save a squishy target, Xmithie recognizes he can make a play. C9 lose vision of Xmithie for a brief second, and he flashes the wall, landing his CC onto C9's remaining threat in Jensen. Pobelter is immediately ready to follow up, and flashes just a half second later to help out his teammate. Pobelter's seismic shove hits Jensen and Contracts into an Unraveled Earth combo, and Cody Sun comes around to clean up the fight. People gave Jensen a hard time about not using his shockwave here, but how many opportunities did he really get? Overall, it's not just on Jensen. It's on the team. C9 failed to control the mouth of the Elder Dragon pit and set Jensen up. Because of Immortals' great positioning and zoning in this teamfight, Jensen was only ever in range to ulti one target at a time. It's hard to say that Jensen made a mistake. He was looking for a game-changing ultimate, but Immortals never presented that opportunity. They moved around and manipulated their opponents, and that's what made the difference. These are the moment-to-moment decisions you have to make in a team fight. When it goes wrong, sometimes it's because you made the wrong call, but sometimes you just get outplayed.
Welcome back to North American LCS. Hope you enjoyed the most recent edition of the breakdown, but now it's time to break down this series. Game 2 coming up here. Immortals now on the back foot against Team Dignitas. Speaking of Team Dignitas winning, wanted to give player of the game honors to Lod in the bot lane. It was a close competition, honestly. Yeah. It was a team win for Dignitas overall, but he was the sole recipient of physical damage. He did the most on the team, and just had a very solid game.
Yeah, I think that there was a lot of members on Dignitas who really did contribute very well, but because he was kind of the linchpin of this composition as the only physical damage carry, he had to do very well, and he did. So definitely deserves those honors.
Yeah, good stuff by him. He definitely played his most played champion in Ashe. He's been on utility duty for most of the time with the squad, but did a very good job on that champion with the greedy build. It worked out well. So basically ready to go with game 2. Looks like all 10 players are up on stage, so it should be very soon for this champ select to begin. And the question is, can Immortals kind of have that same, out-maneuvering, out-playing that they had in that breakdown clip against Cloud9, or will it be Team Dignitas who continue to win? It certainly looked like champ select was a big issue for them here in game 1, so we'll see if that looks better in game 2.
Yeah, it's hard to say because, those compositions can work, but it's like, if it goes bad, it always looks so bad because you're so low on damage. And, they can feel very hard to stop when you are ahead. If that sort of Immortals composition does get ahead, it's non-stop engage. They're barreling down on you. It feels like you can't fight back. There's nothing you can do. But when they fall behind, they're so low on damage that it feels equally as helpless for them.
Right, and the thing is, it's not like Immortals is normally a great early game team anyway. They're a middle-of-the-pack laning phase team regardless. Even, like, Cody-san has an average CS deficit against his lane opponents. Lod's actual laning stats are better, for example. They win elsewhere, right? They win in other places. It just feels weird to have a win lane, win game comp when they're not even winning lanes more often than not regardless. Now, we are in a champ select here for game 2, and we'll see what kind of adaptations can be made. Thresh, Caitlyn off the table from Team Dignitas alongside LeBlanc, and an early Kennen going to be allowed for Sumner to come through with. Could always flex to Lod. We'll have to see.
Zach certainly not going to get through this time around, so we're going to have a pretty different look. Galio, Zach, Cassio, all gone. So those were a couple of the champions that were in the last game. It does mean that there are more of those kind of supports perhaps going to be open this time around. Thresh was taken off the table, but there was such a heavy focus on Olay. He could look to try to pick up something in the first round of picks if he feels like that playmaking support is going to make the difference.
Absolutely, so we'll see what it comes through on, and I wonder actually how much they're afraid of Team Dignitas flexing that Kennen around, or if you pick a top laner early on and try to counterpick that. We've seen Gragas go okay into it. It's not winning, but you survive it. It's going to be early priority onto Jhin, who again received some pretty substantial buffs, and it went well for Cody-san earlier.
Yeah, it definitely did, and as far as the Kennen versus Gragas matchup, like that is one that can be pretty tough to play. Yes, you can survive it. It's not an ideal matchup, but you always can flex it around if you feel like you can get something even better elsewhere, right? And that's always the big question, because there's give and take with any sort of flex pick. If Gragas is going to lose by a little, but then you can get an incredible jungle pick that's going to really influence the game elsewhere, then sure, that's worthwhile.
Of course, absolutely. So Elise going to be grabbed up here for Shrimp, though, and as far as tier list jungles are concerned, Elise is there right behind Zach for popularity's sake. Team Dignitas hoping for a 2-0 to keep this week going strong. One more pick to come through at the end of the first phase for Team Dignitas. Last game, they had grabbed their solo laners and their jungler. Right now, it's a jungle of flex pick, and who knows, 3 seconds to go. Discussion still coming through from Big, and it's going to be Fior. They're going to move it around, so Kennen's going to be in the bot lane for Lod, or it's Fiora mid, who knows? But
yeah, I mean, he did play it once, but I think with Galio off the board, I don't think we're going to see that. It would be super random if Pobelter just played a tank mid lane, and that's the only situation that you want to do. With Galio off the table, there's nothing really to see that there, but we are going to see Lod playing Kennen AD. Sneaky has been doing this. Obviously, everyone knows that Reckless is the guy for the Kennen AD carry. He has really kind of popularized it and been extremely successful with that. But that being said, C9 has, I believe I've seen at least 2 games that they've won with it.
Yeah, they've been playing it a lot, and I've seen it more and more. I choose to believe selectively that instead NA innovated and Reckless went back in time and copied Sneaky.
There you go.
That's my North American.
That's the more likely story.
That's the more likely story. He went back in time and retroactively copied. Thus, Cricket to be the first ban on the table here for Immortals in the support role. Of course, the early ended up being blind pick Fior. Renekton came in to counteract it, though, so Flame should feel good about the matchup. You can riposte the stun, but it's really hard to do.
So the thing I would say about this matchup is, while, if you're talking like average skill or whatever, Renekton is going to bully very hard early, but at the highest levels, Fiora can win early, and Fiora, even at the lower levels, will win late, certainly. So it's like, this is a tough matchup. I feel like there is some onus on Flame to get something done early, because if you do not, it's just a ticking time bomb. You are going to eventually get smashed. That said, some of the ways you can circumvent that is by forcing team fights, is by trying to force the Fiora to group, as we saw Immortals were able to do against Darshan. Even though Flame on this Renekton got killed twice early, they just group, they force team fights. Renekton has high impact in the team fights, whereas Fiora, it can be really tricky to get stuff done.
Absolutely the case here. So the final ban's coming through. Echo Ban left up Syndra as a possible blind, but it got banned by Team Dignitas, and it means that Ole gets to grab something back onto Comfort, his Bard, one of his most well-known champions. Not receiving nearly as many bans this time around. Feels good about this.
The Echo ban is also kind of interesting here. Like, the Echo ban is something that is going to force the Syndra ban, right? Because you're kind of saying, hey, I'm banning a counter. Don't let me play it. So it can kind of force a ban out of your opponents. And even a little move like that can perhaps keep something like the Bard safe, right? Because if you don't make that ban, even if you're not choosing the Syndra, then you're kind of leading Dignitas to think that you would be, and maybe they're not able to focus something else because of that. Yeah,
it's a very, very smart thing here. Orianna gonna be the blind pick, mid lane in for Keen in the mid lane. Will not be Fiora, sad to say. Braum gonna be the rounded out pick here, so a front line is there. Someday gonna be on split push duty for sure on that Fiora, and of course kind of gonna round out the lineup. Plenty of crowd control, of course, is here. Every single one of them has some way of stunning opponents, even if it is conditional. Ari gonna round up the lineup here for Immortals, and a good mix of damage types, a good mix of crowd control, and we'll see if they can make this one happen. The onus may just be on Flame to get early leads against Someday, as that Fiora, as you're saying, likely to outscale on the top side of the map.
Yeah, pretty much guaranteed to do so at some point, as long as the game goes long enough. One of the things that does complicate matters when you are playing in a split push is who can shut you down in the side lane, besides just the 1v1, because it's almost never just a 1v1, right? And it's things like the Bard in the late game who can collapse, who can catch you, who can deliver the jungler, and if you are in that late game power, like kind of position of strength, right?
Yeah.
And so that's something that he has to keep in mind. Obviously the tough early game, but even as he gets to that point where he can 1v1, he needs to be very wary of long-range engage from Bard.
Long-range engage, things to watch out for, of course. Speaking of engage tools, Ken and Braum, no slouches in their own right. And it's not like Bard or Jhin have great escape tools either. So a fun one to watch for as the coaches shake hands, and we'll see if Team Dignitas can wrest control from Immortals for first place, or it's going to be IMT taking down the other two #1 teams to close out their 4th week of play.
A lot of this game for me is kind of comparing a split push squad versus this much more kind of standard team fighting 5v5 squad for Immortals. When you look at the success case for Kennen, very often it is in a side lane. For Fiora, very often it is in a side lane. Yes, they can win team fights, but they're
try to.
Yeah, exactly. Mostly they're looking to win the game through 1-3-1, whereas Immortals wants to group up, wants to force engage, and they have a lot of ways to do that. If you do try to split push too heavily, not only can you collapse on the side lanes, you can hard engage on the 3-man squad that is wave clearing with a Jhin ultimate plus the Bard ultimate. You have Gragas with the engage. There's a lot of ways that they could get caught, and Dignitas is going to have to play very well around that.
We'll see if they can play around that indeed, because different comps means the games are exciting to watch because they have different goals in mind. Welcome to Summoner's Rift, ladies and gentlemen. Game 2 is here. This Team Dignitas once again hopes to be the #1 team in North America, and Immortals hopes for the same after they took down Chronologic Gaming yesterday.
And Dignitas, while they would take possession of first place if they win here today, they still do have another game left in the weekend, which they could lose because they have a really tough weekend themselves. They're going to be going up against C9 tomorrow, another very good team. So there's so many teams at the top right now that actually feels pretty wide open. Yes, some of them are out to slower starts like C9 and TSM than you would normally expect, but you're looking at least, I think, 5 teams right now that arguably could be around the top at the end. You have TSM, C9, the standards there, then CLG, Dignitas, Immortals, all right near the top and all competitive. And you can make an argument for any one of those squads that they would end up as the champion.
Absolutely. So let's see what comes through into this one tied game as we wait for minions to spawn and wait for the lane assignments. No crazy jungle shenanigans, no deep wards, so you have to infer where the starts are. Keen is going to leash for Shrimp. Loud will do the same, but there's always a chance it's a fake leash, but he is going to do Raptors for real.
I think they're going to do the super leash, where the bot lane then goes down and actually starts leashing the red as well. So they're going to do this super, super fast double leash, While Smithy got no help at all, this is going to be an almost dead red buff that Shrimp can just come over. You can actually immediately smite it if you want. He's actually, okay, so he's going to leave the big raptor, just take the little ones. Then he can go topside, and you can set up for a very early gank topside if you want to do that, or even look to go mid.
And we'll see how long it actually takes, because we went back for the big raptor. So at 2:09, that camp is done. And Nick Smithy, when he gets 7 minutes, or sorry, 7 CS, we'll see how different the number is. And right now, it's already 10 seconds apart.
And I do think it's a little strange they didn't actually finish off the little raptor if he was, or sorry, the big raptor if he was going to do that anyway.
Yeah.
You know, obviously you do want to get over to the leash, but you can still use your smite and really speed it up and actually kill off the big raptor immediately, then go away to another camp. But either way, it's still going to be efficient, and this way you have your smite up in order to contest something if you want.
And personally, I do like smiting the big raptor. Actually, I think it's faster myself because it has so much armor and MR. But Shrimp instead has gone for the scuttle. He's level 3 in the top side of the map. Smithy is near. He actually went for Krugs himself, so that Gragas is there for the counter gank. And I think it's smart pathing by Smithy, though, to be around in case that play is made.
And they do know now that Shrimp was topside. They saw that ward poke over, so they have that information. And you know, while Immortals certainly don't want to opt into this 2v2 right now, they don't have to. I mean, the wave is pushing towards Flame, so he's just being patient. He's not going to step forward at all until it crashes into his turret. And sure, he'll lose a CS or two, but he's playing it safe, and he's making sure that if Shrimp were camping in that bush, he wouldn't get taken down.
Absolutely here. Immortals, though, with the push leading the bot side of the map. Range supports tend to be better laners, and certainly that's going to be the case when you've got a bot against a Braum. There is a soft counter here, of course. You can collapse the Cosmic Binding with the Unbreakable Shield to prevent some of the stuns if they go for big first. Sometimes that does matter, but either way, it's a nice early lead for Immortals on the bot side.
Yeah, and if it does kind of keep going this way, if it is heavily in the favor of the Jhin and the Bard, that is something that's a bit concerning for an AD carry that you want to get into the side lane. You know, Ken, if he gets too far behind, can really struggle against anyone who's going to be assigned to him. So you really do like to try to focus on this Kennen lane, get it ahead, get him to that point where he can be in a side lane, 1v1ing people, pushing turrets, and really starting to take hold.
Absolutely. We'll see if that comes in later on to this one. Shrimp, of course, has been out farming Smithy in the early game, and the gold lead right now is somewhat in Team Dignitas' favor. Flame just now finally catching up on the minions that he had lost earlier on in the laning phase, but Someday does still have the early lead against him.
And this is actually very interesting. So the pathing and also kind of the matchup is very reminiscent of yesterday's match between CLG and Immortals, where Flame actually got dove and killed off twice early against a Fiora top lane yesterday. This time he actually played it much more patient, did not take any trades, because yesterday he had been chunked down, and as the Elise got topside around this timing, he was at about 20% and they could easily pull off that dive. So Flame, you know, kind of learning from the matchup yesterday, playing it more passively, and as a result, not under threat of that gank.
Yep, playing it pretty smart for himself right here, and now you can see the gold has swung back in Immortals' favor thanks to the fact that their bot lane is just doing so damn well right now. Huge credit to how well this duo is playing here. Cody Sun and Ole looking angry. You took my champions away. Let me show you my true one trick, the Bard. As Ole keeps going back and forth. No first recall just yet. Gonna wait for the next big play. Big just takes a little shot to the shoulder, but he's gonna be fine.
Should be totally fine, and we're gonna have to wait and see where these junglers make their first mark. You know, where is Shrimp going to look to go? Because while in a passive 2v2, the melee support may get bullied out, when the gank comes in, you have strong gank assist. If you can proc that Braum stun, follow it up with Elise Cocoon or vice versa, you're definitely going to be looking towards that kill.
That's the case, so we'll wait to see where the follow-through is. Nice little slow right there, and nothing yet to be had as they kite back and forth and look for trades into Ole, who is just getting more gold out of this regardless. Lod wants to go in for a bit more. They're going to find the Q, and actually it forces a flash out of Cody's Sun. That would have been the chance at a kill.
Whoa.
And the fact that Shrimp was there also means that Ole flashed away from possible Cocoon.
And that seemed maybe a bit too defensive. I mean, I guess if you get stunned, you're perhaps guaranteed to get Cocoon and then die. So the early flash, but definitely seemed a bit preemptive with how far away Shrimp was. Either way, the time pays off big time as he goes bot and gets two summoners pretty quickly.
It's a pretty big lead for a team that was certainly losing out in farm, but it's looking better now. First recalls came in for the top side, the TP back to lane, but it'll roam down for Ari.
And he is 6 very early. Pobelter is here.
Can he find the play? Has the ulti, of course. Looking for this one. He's going to find some damage, and a big exhaust comes in early, and they shouldn't be able to land much more. Jukes through the minions to make sure Charm can't land, and out they go.
Still, nice roam, you have to say. You know, he gets 2 summoners for the ultimate. He is going to lose some farm mid lane, but Smithy should be able to cover and soak up most of that. On the top side, fighting breaking out. They're both level 6, so all-ins can be pretty scary.
Definitely the case right here. Looks like Immortals want to go for the recall. It's going to be actually not too bad, of course, because they were able to shove the wave out courtesy of Pobelter throwing a Q in there. So They're not going to miss out on much gold or XP. They got a pretty quick recall. Now it's up for Dignitas to shove that bot lane in, and it's, you know, not that easy to do. Cody's going for the Yomus first, as you expect of the champion. Honestly, pretty solid for the Immortals duo. Catching up in Summoners by that roam is a really big deal.
I think it's a very smart roam for Pobelter. He had kind of gone back to buy first. He had pushed out the wave first, so he has some time. Yes, he loses a wave, but that is worth it for a couple Summoners. I definitely think, especially when this is a lane that they're trying to obviously focus, and if you have that flash still up on Lot as he hits level 6, the all-in potential is very high for Kennen. So that is certainly a high-impact summoner that Pobelter has taken down and really helping to relieve the pressure.
Certainly important stuff right here. Nice shockwave, going to buy some time. Of course, Pobelter does not have an ulti. He just wins that trade. He's happy to burn the cooldown just for some damage. It's a TP-less mid lane, so the damage might stick.
Yeah, Ahri has some healing from the passive, though, and a couple potions are available for Pobelter, so he's not too perturbed. We'll be able to heal that back up, and because it's a pretty passive lane, right? But that's fine for Keen. You know, he's using the ultimate not necessarily to get a kill, but hopefully just to establish lane dominance, kind of use it more for poke, and that's often how the Orianna ultimates are used early on.
Sure. And even if all it does is force 2 potions, that's 100 gold. Right? That's almost an entire wave worth of last hits right there. So, I mean, if that really does burn 2 potions, that's just like denying an entire wave. Nice pickup right there. Keen gets the most of them. Doing a pretty good job here on this one in the Orianna.
Maybe at least able to grab the big raptor, which is kind of the major prize there as far as experience and everything is concerned. And he is level 6 on the Gragas. Definitely a big power spike there. They're heading bot side. Perhaps looking to force something. Lot is not 6 yet. Remember, has no flash. Smithy has his available.
But Cody-san is, so the threat of that ultimate into the follow-up dive is enough for threat. Look at the damage up on that turret. It's going to be rushed back here, but Flame,
though.
Not sure if Flame is killable, though. He's going to try to hug the wall, get away from some of these.
Oh, that was so well done.
All the CC. Now Shrimp's going to force the dodge the aggro. All the vitals do get proc, but Flame by a lot more time gets the first kill, and someday almost dies the turret as well. The significant outplay out of Flame in the top lane.
Oh, that was insane from Flame. We're going to have to see that replay again, but he played that so incredibly well. The early ultimate clears the wave exceptionally fast, which puts the turret onto his opponents. Then the very fast flash on almost a point-blank cocoon out of Shrimp, and that was beautifully done from Flame. This guy has been doing it all split long, surviving in the 1v2, thriving in the 1v2.
Beautiful stuff. We can watch this one again. Even though the vitals get proc, he still makes it all happen.
So this is actually pretty smart from Someday. He uses the ultimate there to just try to get him to react too early, but then dashes back, immediate flash. That is very low time to actually be able to do that. The clear on the wave meant that the turret is on them very early here, and then the HP coming out gives them survivability to take down Shrimp, and almost got Someday there too.
Really beautiful stuff out of him. So huge stuff, and it means that it's a 1,400 gold lead for Immortals. Of course, that bot lane play worked out. They got first turret, they got all that gold, they got the solo kill 1v2 in the top lane, so nothing wrong at all for Immortals right now.
Yeah, I mean, now it's like you kind of want to repeat gank because Flame at least doesn't have flash, but that is risky, and Shrimp getting caught out.
Forcing the flash away to get out from the charm. Flash for flash, though, as Pobelter did flash in himself to find some more damage. And now we'll see what the follow-up play can be, as they've already sent Flame to the bot lane, and he's in a 1v2. You wonder if he can make the outplay happen again. This time he is flashless. Ulti down for a few more seconds, and actually big damage on a Flame that doesn't put a lot, but can he really survive the turret? Big gonna have to get away after this one. A few more attacks from Lob, but he's gonna lose like 2/3 of his HP just from turret shots there.
Ooh, they're gonna try to re-dive though. They're corralling him here with Shrimp.
Holds up.
I don't know if anyone can actually get down to help him out, so he's trying to clear the wave aggressively. This makes it so Shrimp can't walk through the turret, and the collapse is delayed. He's gonna have to play this very well though. There's a ton of CC, and the turret reset. He needs to dive down towards the bottom members.
Holds up, means he's going to land a stun here on a Shrimp, buying a bit more time. Stun's going to land there, gets the big heal lick. It's going to be Big, who's okay though. And now the float's back on a Shrimp, and again, he just crushes down the spider. Itsy bitsy, the water spout is gone. The flash, the chase, Someday wants him, the stun's going to land. He's put in the grand duel, and there's no damage to be had. Flame is unstoppable.
What a monster. If the 1v2 wasn't enough, how about the 1v3? How about the delayed 1v4 with Someday committing 2 summoner spells? Flame gets out without even having his flash. This guy's a monster.
He is a monster. They cannot extinguish him, and Immortals getting all of the rewards for this top lane. Lost 2 turrets already. Flame TP's back, and everyone else runs in fear. This man cannot be pushed around, and Immortals, oh my word, winning everywhere.
Oh, that is just so well done. Flame has been managing these so well on these dives. You know, he has the red buff, so it's giving him some regen, diving down forward, he dodges the cocoon, he's trying to clear out the minions, then he pulls back towards Shrimp. The turret aggro has to be dropped because he'd already chunked out the duo lane, able to kill off Shrimp, and not only that, he's able to get out here. So well done. Has the patience, the parry gets used, knows he can land the guaranteed stun. His slicing dice comes back up. He steps into Someday during the stun to make sure the slice actually connects to Someday, gives him the reset for the dice.
Yeah.
These little plays have to be done so well, because even if he didn't get that reset, he would have gone down to Someday afterwards.
You likely expect that because he gets the move speed out of the Grand Challenge.
Exactly.
So just perfection. If you want to see how to play League of Legends well, just play that clip over and over again. And
do that.
Just do that. Why can't my top players do this? It's perfect. It's so easy. Not easily the case, of course. Flame, certainly awesome. And yeah, you can say they're misplays by Team Dignitas, but still, very rarely does a play go like that. And props to Flame for making some good things happen.
Of course. I mean, this was not a perfectly executed dive. Obviously, the cocoon missed. You know, they didn't layer the CC perfectly. But that said, Flame deserves a lot of the credit for forcing mistakes out of his opponents through reacting to situations so well, right? And any play like this requires a little bit of both. If it is perfectly executed in 3v1, yes, of course, you always die. But they make a little mistake and you play great, you have a play like that.
And now Lod, hey, can he outplay the 1v2? Can he do what Flame did? Lod gets the stun into Pole Belter, and now he's got some damage up, but he flashed the run away, but Body Slam is there, and he can't do what Flame did. 3-0 Immortals.
Yep, not much chance there. He does expend the summoners. Does a lot of damage on Pole Belter, but Pole Belter was just holding his charm the whole time, waiting for Smithy to guarantee it with a Body Slam, and looked probably a lot closer than it really was.
Yeah. I was trying to be like facetious with the hardcore play-by-play, but the fight ended up being close, so I was like, oh, I guess he's almost going to kill Bobolter now. Either way, it's Flame and a 1v1 of Someday. I've seen this go, you know, closer before.
The funny thing will now be watching Fiora, because it's Fiora, just win from this situation. I've had so many games where it's like, I outplayed the Fiora, I got 7 kills on her, and then she kills you.
Yeah, well, speaking of kills, though, Smithy running low. And
oh my God!
That ball, like, the freaking explosive cast was insane!
Bow down to the new jungle god! Smithy with the predictive Gragas ultimate. That was absurd!
Immortals can do no wrong this game. Player of the game to everybody in this one. The turrets just fall in awe about how well this game is being played. There's just nothing left to do.
That is absurd. That is... I'm trying to think. Have I ever seen a better Gragas ultimate? Like
a Mad Life Gragas ult.
Like, that was sick. And I mean, last game, Smithy hits the Body Slam flash redirect on a Someday. How about this? Predicting the flash, knowing his opponent will go on the cast animation, predictive cast there. That was absurd. That was so good.
Shusha himself couldn't have explosive cast that good. I mean, he's wearing the skin, but really, we've got a new Gragas god in town.
Oh, that was nuts.
That was insane. That was just all kinds of ridiculous.
I mean, there are, you know, all the Sejuani Smithy memes. I feel like there should be some new memes here about the Gragas, because that was like, this is nuts.
Look, this has been the weekend of Dignitas having good Barons. Smithy is now the best tank jungler in North America. It's no overhype. He's just amazing. And let's see if Immortals keep it going right now. I mean, and they're playing so well. Like, this is, I'll curse it, the chance to get a perfect game right here, because there's not a lot Team Dignitas have been able to do so far in this game. They've gotten very little turret damage, no kills so far.
It's
I want to see how much more they can do.
I mean, it's definitely looking grim for Dignitas, but there's always a chance when there's a Fiora in the game. If you can delay this game, the Fiora can take over in a side lane. Someday is one of the best in the league, if not the best in the league at playing this champion right now, I would say. I think he excels in the split push style. He has still stayed relevant as far as farm is concerned, and you give this guy enough time to get a couple items, he can maybe make something happen for you, but it's going to be tough to get to that point because you have this AD Kennen who's actually kind of behind, and you know, where is he going to be effective? He can't go to a side lane.
Yeah, I mean, Team Dignitas is going to try to win through this Fiora, but it's going to be a project. Here comes the stun, and oh no, Pole Belter, he's going to die! He's running, but okay, he's not going to die! He's going to land the charm, and he's going to get away with it! Immortals has refused to actually get killed by anything. Nice block by Dig, the flash Q, now he is going to be going down, maybe, yes? Barely gets it, despite the charm coming in, and finally a kill on the board for Team Dignitas.
That actually got pretty close there at the end. Big wanted to give the kill over to Lod, and I was getting worried for him that he was... Oh, that was so well done. They spotted. They actually guessed where the TP was going to be coming out, and Olay catches
Gets the stun as well, so Someday's now out of time, and he's out of places to go for. He's going to jump across this one. He does have flash available. The root is in. There's no way out. Flame gets himself a killing spree.
Olay with a really good guess there. Mayo just thought he was using the base, but not only did they get the kill, they get the TP because Someday was trying to TP out of the bush, and that was blind. There was no word on it.
Yep, he just had to put in the cancel. So it is the shorter cooldown of the teleport, the 3-minute version, but still, of course, pretty relevant here in this one. As they're only going to get, ooh, a nice flash, gets away from the shockwave.
Smithy is flanking now. Jhin ultimate's up. They are looking like they're going to get corralled here.
He puts in the shield, puts up the defensive stats, only 230 damage on that one, but the body stem's going to be there. Another shield from Orianna, but explosive cast going to put her against the wall. They're going to get the one picked up, though. Shrimp makes it happen. The trade route is in, Smithy gets himself a kill. Now Dignitas sequestered on the wrong side of the map. Can Immortals make the rest of the dive happen? Someday is in base right now. He's far away. Lod wants in, gonna dodge away from the charm. Ulti comes in, gonna find the stun on a Pobelter. Gonna get a few more artifacts in, but not the damage, and that's gonna be 2 more picked up out of that one. The chase is on, and Orianna gonna fall away as well and turn into pieces there. Double kill, 5-0 for Flame, and he deserves every single one of them.
Yeah, this guy is so strong now. 5 kills on this early, really powerful champion like Renekton. He can definitely take over this one someday. Back in base, didn't have TP to join the fight. Wouldn't have wanted to join, I think, even if he had it. And Immortals cleaning up turrets, cleaning up fights, are so far ahead. The question with a lead this big is usually how clean can you make it look? And here's the initiation again. They use the Jhin ultimate, land the slows, able to catch up to Big here. And Keen does a good job kind of taking out Olay with Shrimp over the wall, so that was nice for them, at least able to trade something back. But all of Immortals are here, and there's really no way out. They just come in from all sides. Flame is extremely strong, and Cody Sun has Flash.
Flash to get away with that one, and out they go. And I gotta say, what an amazing split so far for Immortals. They're just kind of in control of this game. And they're gonna find a kill in a big. Body Slam's gonna land, there's the slow, and actually they can't kill him just yet. Here comes Tempered Fate. But there's no follow through. Cody's gonna try, gonna land the root, but the shield's there. And there's not enough damage to have him, so no kills in just yet.
Yeah, and they don't want to force it too hard because Flame is not with the team and Pobelter's in a side lane, so no use risking that. Ooh.
That one not as flashy.
Oops. All right, we'll give him a pass because the first one was so good.
I mean, literally not as flashy. Keen didn't go for it, so the explosive cast not gonna land. But but yeah, 5,000 gold up right now, 5.5. I want to tell my version of the story of Immortals though, because
all right, let's hear it.
It felt
Once
like
upon a time.
I mean, basically just this year though, because it felt like the team was scrapped together. Where it's like Huni left, and like, oh crud, we're like missing our entire lineup now, and they're, signing. It's like, well, you think
what about
Rain
Rainover? He was the MVP.
Well, I know, sure. I'm abridging it because they're currently sieging mid lane. We'll maybe do this more a little bit later because they're looking to knock this turret down right now as Big wants to fight them. Charm back and forth. All right, no fight. Okay, there is a fight. I take it back. Flame's there, and he turns around. No fight. It felt like a scrap together lineup though, because they lost basically everyone except Pobelter. Pobelter, who had been benched off of CLG, went to a new team. You had Smithy, benched off CLG, went to a new team. Cody Sun's a random rookie. Ole kind of shows it from the LMS, but he was only on like a playoff caliber team and not a top team really. Flame was on his way down, right? This was a guy who has a farm lead named after him, the Flame Horizon, and he rode the bench the entire season in China. It's like, well, okay, he's a has-been top laner. And then within half a year's time, they're now looking like maybe the #1 team in North America. They're smashing this one. Flame himself is incredible in this one. And just such a quick turnaround of an unlikely bunch of players to be this good, as Someday is going to riposte a root, but it's not going to be enough. He's going to drop for that one. Cody Sun getting his second kill of the game. It's just such a great meteoric rise by players you would never expect any of these players to be #1 in NA right now.
And I think while they are playing well individually, it also highlights the importance of team play, of macro, of cohesion. I think because they're playing and they're working so well together. There have been all-star performances like this one from Flame, but certainly, especially because of the history of Flame, people felt like he was in the twilight of his career, and then disappointing spring split from him certainly reinforced that. Made people think even more so that there was no chance this guy really had anything left in the tank, and now they come in and they're doing so exceptionally well. They're proving everyone wrong, and it's very, very exciting to see, and I'm hopeful that it will continue over the course of the split, because it does not feel like FlyQuest last split where perhaps people are saying, oh, the wheels are going to fall off. They're taking risky calls. That was what a lot of people credited a lot of FlyQuest victories for, was these crazy Baron attempts and things like this. Immortals is playing very, very standard, right? They're playing very well as a squad, in macro play, in vision control. They're checking all the boxes, and that's why it doesn't feel like something to me that is just going to go away.
Right. They're just playing straight up good League of Legends. And as you said, checking all the boxes. I mean, like, just down the line, it's good League of Legends per player, per shot call, per everything. And we will see if that can continue here into this one. You know, it's interesting. Every time TSM wins a spring split, there is a new champion in summer. TSM won spring 2013, Cloud9 wins summer split. Cool. TSM wins spring 2015, CLG wins summer split.
Oh, they're looking. King gets caught. Here comes Smithy.
And they're going to look for the stun. There's Big putting up the shield, preventing the stun to come through at all. Nice knockback on it too, though. It's a couple of squishies. Flash coming out. They're going to land the charm, and down he goes. Cody's son lands a snipe. He wants a bit more shots into Big, as they've also picked off Shrimp. That support is low on HP, but a 2 for 0 quickly picked up right there. And Immortals continue control.
Olay just so good on these playmaking supports. This is why they banned him out in game number 1. They were not able to kind of have this sort of effectiveness. He starts so many of their plays. He's very proactive. He didn't have that on the Nami. He does here on the Bard, and now they are going to the Baron. No jungler up here for Dignitas. 3 men alive, but this would be a very risky contest. We'll see if they can make the magic happen.
They might just try it. Big is in the front line, lands the knock into this one. No smite is around, but maybe it's going to come through. They're going to go back in for the re-engage, and Big's going to drop. That's a 1 for 0. 5v2 inside the Baron pit. The health bar is healthy enough. They're going to find the stun, and a Keening cleanses. The charm's not going to land just yet. They can take him down before the spell comes up. Smithy is low. He smites it. He's going to stay alive. He takes down the Baron, and Someday is next up. That's the delayed ace plus the Baron for Immortals.
Very well done. Dancing back and forth, knowing they can take not only the kills, but the Baron too. As much as you could hope for there from Immortals. They're up over 10,000 gold at 23 minutes, and they are in complete control.
They've only given up 2 kills in a single turret. It's been a great game for Immortals here when they play this fight so nice.
Yeah, it's a really good job. The balance between the Baron and the fight, they're able to turn. They know that Keen doesn't have Shockwave because he used it mid lane. It's almost up. It just comes up pretty much as he is actually dying. He goes down without really having much of a chance to use it, and it's so hard for somebody on the Fjord to really get involved in the 5v5.
They're gonna look for a little bit more here. Magical journey over the wall. They want
Ult's up.
And they're gonna land it yet again. Can they take him out? They're gonna find a stun. They're gonna find a root. They're gonna find all the damage they need. Cody's under the number. Snipey is dominating. And Big next up on the chopping block, and he has chopped down a kill for Poelter, his second of the game. Bot lane tier 2 is gone. They've got a Baron buff. They can push for more.
They could actually potentially just push towards a win here. I mean, they are so strong, so far ahead. Keen and Someday trying to shove out the other lanes, but Immortals are not going to be able to be contested on this inhibitor turret whatsoever, so they're going to have minion waves for the Nexus if they want to go for it. We'll see if they're looking to make that play or if they want to play it a little bit more conservative.
We'll wait to see. Big up in 6 seconds, Shrimp in 8 now. The inhibitor is definitely happening, and I expect them to walk back afterwards. You see Cody sending towards the back.
Flame is just already pushing out mid, so they just want to go around, take out the inhibitors. Going for a Nexus play, obviously much more risky. I think they're in such a position of power that they could, but there's no reason to risk that. Just expand the gold lead, collect these extra turrets, make it sure that you are in an insurmountable position.
It's kind of checking the boxes right now, pushing down the mid lane. They know Someday was top right now. He's recalling, but they land the charm. They land the kill on the Big. Flame gets his 6th of the game now into this one. 1/3 of the kills all belong to Flame, and rightly so. Mid lane gonna fall here quickly. 5v4, slow on the Key, and they look for the root. They force the flash out now. Can he get the charm? Nope, King gonna juke up, and he's shot down, but the big stun is there, and Shrimp dies without being able to act at all. Flame, though, running out of health, but a Tempered Fate buys a bit more time on the lot. They're gonna land nothing, actually, too early in the CC, but here comes the re-engage. A big hit comes in for 2 kills, and Team Dignitas looking for signs of life, but they can't quite find any more. The 2 kills, all they're gonna get.
That was an amazing shockwave from Keen. That does save the game for now, allowing them to push Immortals back out of the base. So critical for them.
A little bit more time bot right here, but it's...
You need a lot of time.
13,000 gold is a lot to gain back.
Yeah. I mean, Flame is over 3,000 gold ahead of his lane opponent. So is Cody's son. Here's the fight again. And watch Smithy, he's just tanking this turret for so long, allowing them to actually, just train down Big. They're able to not get a perfect ultimate on Keen, and that's what kind of buys some time. They do knock down the turret. They are in a position of power, but they can't actually land the charm. They can't take down Keen. And Flame getting chunked out here. Someday's playing pretty well, delaying on the side, and then this shockwave really is what turns it as they all go forward to try to collapse on Laud, who had been ulted by the Bard. They got baited out a little bit by that. So Someday able to move forward, pick up a couple kills there. And they do hold on for now, but they're still enormously behind. I mean, this is a 3-item Renekton at 26 minutes.
I mean, he's huge. Guardian Angel's in there. He's a big boy. Level 16 on the Crocodile. Highest level on really the game right now, so good luck dealing with him.
And even if he is not doing as well, like, Cody's son is massive. Cody's son is on 3.5 items as well. Like, this Jhin is going to be so hard to deal with. But we have not really even talked about him that much because everyone has been performing very well, but he's just at such a strong point. I mean, compare his itemization over to the Kennen, who's sitting on, 2.5, never going to be able to get into a side lane at this point and really get work done.
A lot of his major gains, the fact that Flame was sitting in 1v2s, because they were cross-map plays, right?
Yep.
They're going for the Flame the dive on a Flame, as Immortals goes for the turret play, and while Dignitas backs up, Flame just kills his opponent, and the turrets keep falling on the other side of the map. Now Someday going to be in a bad way right here. Jukes around, tries to buy a bit more time. Will drop down to the Spirit Rush of Pobelter, 1-for-0 on that one. Now missing a top laner for 40 seconds. Team Dignitas looking for the 28-minute win. Immortals going to push in for a little bit more. No regen, no Ocean Drake, just the stats. One turret shut down, a bit of damage on a big. I'll have to wait a little bit longer here as Baron buff has timed out. It's just wave through and waiting for the next minion wave. Bot lane is here. Maybe the fight comes in. Flash gonna land the double stun. Here comes the body time. There's the explosive cast. One picked up. Shotgun catches 3 though, and the follow up from the Braum as well. They're gonna look for damage on Big, then on Strip. The crit is in 750, and the shutdowns come through thick and fast and furious. And it's only Keen left alive, and he's gonna find himself stunned up inside the fountain steps. And the chase down is there. Cody's on with the flourish at the very end, gets the kill. A TP for Swag. Flame saying we got this one in the bag. 24-4, under 28 minutes. A smashing from Immortals.
Oh, we are going to a game 3. Dignitas looking very dominant in game number 1, but Immortals answer back with just an amazing performance across the board. Everyone doing very well. You have to look at Flame though. Not only holding on in a 1v2 and a 1v3, getting kills, turning around fights.
Yeah.
And that really unlocked the rest of the team, but the rest of the team ran with that. I mean, Smithy with one of the best Gragas ults I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Cody's son going off. Ole back on the engaged champion, playing incredible on the Bard.
Yeah.
Pobelter was all like, there's nothing really to criticize here from Immortals this game. They were so good.
Absolutely agree. It's funny, 'cause the joke I made to Stunt was when they were going to 3-0 the team, it was one of your wins will look so good it'll count as 2. That win counts as 2 wins in my book. Like they dominated in so many places for so long, so quickly to close out in under 30 minutes, under 28 minutes. I mean, that is one of the most smashing games I've ever seen in League of Legends. And these are against 2 #1 teams right now.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
Immortals lost the first game pretty hard, and they did this to Dignitas in game 2. It means game 3 is going to be very fun.
Yeah, it really will be. And the question is now, how does Dig bounce back from this match, right?
Sure.
Do they have the confidence in their practice, in their strategies, to be able to come back and play a really strong game 3? Or will Immortals have kind of shaken them?
And I imagine that usually that answer is no, you're not shaken. Usually players with a lot of experience, and honestly, right, this is a split of no rookies, right? Everyone's played a lot of games of League. They played a lot of LCS. They played a lot of pro games overall. You expect them to bounce back, and that's what I expect to see here. I think it's going to be a fun game 3, but now for a deeper dive on how Immortals did type that series, let's send it over to Dash and Mark.
Thank you very much, guys. A crazy dominant 28-minute victory here for Immortals over Dignitas, extending the series to a 3rd game. And Mark, I mean, look, we could dive into all of this, but let's be real. This game,
yeah, a couple plays, that's all that matters here, and it's those flame out plays that you've been hearing so much about.
All right, so let's pull them up. Let's take another look at Flame in the top lane, avoiding this initial turret dive with a beautiful flash, just completely outplaying both Shrimp and Someday in the top lane.
Really nice that he clears the creep wave early. It forces the turret onto them a little bit. You see the cocoon come out right away. He's been saving his E for it, then flashes. And it's just immaculately played. You could say Shrimp should have came down further away from where he repelled up and just flash out, but at that point you really want to convert on that dive because you're losing so much on the bot side of the map. And then this one, same exact thing.
This time without his flash.
This time without the flash, ease the cocoon. They try and get onto him, able to chunk out multiple members. He already had destroyed the bot lane basically, 1v2, now 1v3.
Excuse me while I 1v3 pick up a kill and also get out completely.
Yeah, and then this stun into the stepping a little bit closer just to guarantee the second part of his slice and dice is just like immaculate play. I love seeing it, and that's the thing is like the game's over at this point. I mean, barring some massive mistake, the amount that they're getting off on the flip side of the map is so important, especially when you're comparing the fact that they're getting kills here.
And I think that's the key point there is that initial turret dive that you saw, the first one that you saw, was while the rest of Immortals is actively making moves on the bot side of the map. So he is not only avoiding this gank, but actually getting himself a kill in the top side while his team garners more advantages in the bot lane, and then you just flip that scenario 3 minutes later, and boom, all of a sudden you can see here on the gold graph, right around that 10-minute mark, they're off to the races, and there's no stopping Immortals at this point.
I mean, to be fair, the rest of Immortals was playing well.
Yes.
Cody's Sun got massive. Smithy had that insane insect with the Gragas ultimate. Like, there's so many plays throughout this game. It's like the game itself was a highlight reel.
Yeah, very much so. So it's wonderful to see all those guys operating well on a mechanical basis, and that, hey, with a victory, once again, this Immortals squad clearly knows how to close games, and they as a group of 5 have worked some kind of magic between spring and summer split to all of a sudden have Flame be entirely in tune with the team, where previously, you know, late on TPs or going in when the rest of the team is going out, they seem so much more in sync this time around.
I think part of it that you have to talk about a little bit is the addition of the coach Song. He joined the team after a pretty extensive coaching career in Korea as well. So the combination of having a better team environment with potentially a coaching upgrade, everyone's listening more now, getting on the same page, wanting to work together, these kinds of things, it can't be overstated how important good team synergy can be for a roster.
Yeah, very much so. Now, while Flame will pick up player of the game for his performance on the Renekton this time around, I want to dive further into that top lane matchup, because it was very clear from Dignitas' perspective that this was what they wanted to attack here in Game 2 for a potential advantage in the way of Someday and the Fiora to win the game. It didn't work out that way, but they're clearly thinking about the top lane matchup as where this series as a whole will hinge.
Almost a little bit disrespectful in some regards, where they take the Kennen early on, and then before they really need to at all, they show that, like, yep, that's a flex, that's going bottom, we're taking Fiora for Someday, and he's going to smash you guys. And Immortals was just like, no, you can send as many people as you want up there. You know, Flame's a total tank in the top lane. You don't destroy this guy that easily, and if you don't play your dives perfectly and set them up at the right times and play with the minion wave and all that stuff, he's going to get out.
Now, that said, they do move back to the red side here in Game 3. So if they want, they could potentially save Someday's pick till last and actually get a counter pick and maybe create...
James is so excited about the games.
I'm beside myself right now because of how exciting this series is. No, but, you know, maybe they can create a more advantageous matchup for him, as opposed to playing the scaling Fiora into the early game powerhouse of Renekton. Maybe they can create something a little bit more lopsided, or at least pick a jungle top lane, champions that synergize well between the two of them, that they can contest the 2v2s throughout the next
Honestly,
game.
if I'm Dignitas, I'm not walking away from this game pulling away too much from it, because we said that this game was decided by a couple plays, and I wouldn't call them freak plays, it's just monster plays out of Flame. And if you took the same exact draft back, you're not necessarily going to lose the game this way. You don't need to send that many resources up to Someday, because he was doing fine in the 1v1. And if you're actually down there protecting your bot side and scaling up until the Fiora really comes online, because at the end of the game, Fiora's at 1.5 items to 3 items on everyone else. If the game's even, this comp does make sense.
Yeah, to that end, though, in terms of what Dignitas can take away from it, I want to go back to the flex pick point that you brought up. One, they didn't even flex it very well, because they just took the Fiora before a top laner was chosen on the other side. But I'm also not convinced by the Kennen for Laud anyway, just because as a team, I don't feel like they need a Kennen ADC to be successful, right? Put them on something longer range in the Varus, the Ashe, or even the Caitlyn. Caitlyn was banned this time around, but fine, the Varus or the Ashe, the likes of still having some kind of engage and CC tools, but a little bit more safety. I'm not really sure why they're trying to stretch to the Kennen to begin with.
I assume it's because they didn't ban the Kennen. The other team didn't ban the Kennen, so that means if they don't take it, there's a chance Flame's grabbing it. So you take it early on, so that kind of enables the Fiora, because the Kennen smashes Fiora, and you basically say, we don't really care about the swap value between the two. We're looking at denying the pick away, and that's what they were going for. And you can say, yes, that is not that great of a draft strategy. If you don't want to deal with the Kennen, maybe you look at banning it away instead of a LeBlanc or something. But at the end of the day, like we said, it came down to the fact that Flame is just a god in the top.
Yep, Dignitas grab Game 1. Immortals strike back in Game 2 in a very dominant fashion. Meet us back here for Game 3 to see which team can end the day alone in first place. Don't touch that browser.
Not sure if Flame is killable, though. He's going to try to hug the wall, get away from some of these.
Oh, that was so well done.
The CC. Now Shrip's going to force the dodge the aggro. All the vitals do get proc, but Flame by a lot more time gets the first kill, and Someday going to get a few more auto attacks in, but not the damage, and that's going to be 2 more picked up out of that one. The chase is on, and Orianna gonna fall away as well and turn into pieces there. Double kill, 5-0 for Flame. Find the stun and a key cleanses. The drop's not gonna land just yet. Can take him down before the spell comes up. Smithy is low. He smites it. He's gonna stay alive and takes down the Baron. And Someday is next up. That's the delayed Ace plus the Baron for Immortals. And the follow-up from the Braum as well. They're gonna look for damage on Big, then on Strip. The crit is in 750. The shutdowns come through thick and fast and furious. That's only Keen left alive.